When I was 25, I was still living in the same two-bedroom house my brother left behind after he died. It wasn't just the house I couldn't leave, it was the silence that came with it. Ethan moved in a few months later. He'd been my brother's best friend since law school, the kind who never missed a birthday, who helped carry the coffin, who stayed after the funeral when everyone else quietly slipped away. He said he'd stay, just until you find your footing. That was 2 years ago. Now, he made coffee in the mornings, kept his files on the dining table, and fixed the leaky faucet. Whenever I forgot to ask, he'd become part of the house, part of the silence. Sometimes I'd catch him looking at me, like he was about to say something, but he never did. I didn't ask, maybe because I didn't want to know what it was. That morning, I woke to the sound of the kettle, and the faint scratch of his pen against paper. I padded into the kitchen in my oversized t-shirt, hair a mess, and he glanced up, just briefly. "You're up early," he said. I couldn't sleep. He poured coffee into my favorite mug, the one with the chipped rim. "You've got that client meeting today, right?" "Yeah." I hesitated. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure." I looked at him, really looked. The messy hair, the soft exhaustion around his eyes, the quiet steadiness. "Do you ever feel like everything just stopped? Like the world moved on and forgot to tell us?" Ethan's jaw tensed, and for a moment, he didn't answer. Then, softly, "Every day." Something in me broke a little when he said that. We sat in silence, the air between us heavy, not with grief anymore, but something else, something I didn't have a name for. It was late. I'd been working on a design deadline, when the storm hit. Heavy rain, the kind that feels like it might never stop. The lights flickered once, then went out completely. I grabbed a candle from the kitchen. Ethan appeared in the doorway, barefoot, holding his phone flashlight. "You okay?" "Yeah." Just startled. He stepped closer, the faint glow of the candle catching the tired lines of his face. "You should probably save your work. Power might be out for a while." "I already did," I whispered. For a moment, neither of us moved. The candlelight danced on the walls, soft and flickering. I could hear the rain, the thunder, the low sound of his breathing. He took a slow breath. "You know, your brother would be proud of you." The words hit harder than I expected. "Don't," I said quietly. "Don't what?" "Don't bring him into this right now." He frowned. "Into what?" I looked at him, heart pounding, realizing I didn't even know what I meant. "Into whatever this is," I said finally. His expression softened, but he didn't look away. "You think there's a this?" I laughed nervously. "I don't know. Maybe I just imagine it sometimes." Ethan's voice dropped. "You don't imagine it." The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was charged, like the air before lightning. I wanted to say something, anything, but then the thunder cracked so loud it made me flinch. Ethan instinctively reached for my hand. His fingers wrapped around mine, warm, steady, and trembling just slightly. We stood there in the dim light, not moving, the rain pounding against the windows like a heartbeat we both heard. He let go first. "I should check the breaker," he said, his voice rough. And just like that, the space between us opened again. Weeks passed. Nothing was said about that night, but everything felt different. We cooked dinner together and avoided eye contact. We watched movies but sat on opposite ends of the couch. We spoke in short sentences, as if language itself might betray us. Then one night, after another long silence, he came into the kitchen where I was washing dishes. "Can we talk?" he asked. I dried my hands. "Sure." He leaned against the counter, eyes lowered. "I've been trying to figure out if staying here is helping you, or making things harder." My chest tightened. "You want to leave?" He hesitated. "I think maybe I should." The words felt like a knife. I didn't want to sound desperate, but the thought of him leaving made the room spin. "Why?" He looked at me then, really looked. "Because every day I'm here, I want something I shouldn't want." The air left my lungs. "Ethan." "I know," he said softly. "I know it's wrong. I promised your brother I'd look out for you. I'm supposed to protect you, not." "Don't finish that sentence," I whispered. He didn't. Instead, we stood there, two people caught between guilt and something dangerously close to love. Then I did the thing I swore I wouldn't do. I stepped closer, close enough to see the small scar under his lip, the rise and fall of his chest. "Maybe it's not wrong to want something real," I said, "even if it hurts." His hand brushed my cheek, a touch that lasted too long to be an accident. And for one suspended moment, we forgot everything. The promise, the past, the grief. Then he pulled back, breath shaky. "If I don't go now, I won't be able to." He left that night. And for weeks, the house felt emptier than it ever had after my brother died. It's been 6 months since Ethan left. I still make 2 cups of coffee every morning out of habit. I still glance at the couch, half expecting him to be there, half hoping he never is. We don't talk anymore. Not because we don't want to, but because we both know we'd never stop if we started. Sometimes I think about that night, the candlelight, the silence, the space between us that was small enough to step across and large enough to lose ourselves in forever. He did what he thought was right. Maybe he was. But right doesn't always mean painless. I've started living again, designing, meeting people, laughing even. But every now and then, when the storm rolls in and the lights flicker, I still hear his voice. You don't imagine it. And I know I didn't. Love isn't always about staying. Sometimes it's about knowing when you shouldn't, and learning to live in the quiet that follows.